Love, light, and blessings. This is Shamanic Iraq Priestess here, and I am making a end of the year tarot tag, which I think was started by originally, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm gonna link her video. Um, I'm gonna put her link on this video. And if you haven't checked her out, she's the queen of spreads, I always say, and she always has very interesting videos. She did an end of the year tarot tag, and I want to participate in that, even though she did it a while ago. And I'm kind of late to the game. I still told her I will participate. So, but I'm drinking my coffee because I just finished working on the psychic hotline for the night. And I have some rituals I'm going to be doing tonight and some other little things here and there. So it's going to be a long night. And I'm having coffee so I can stay awake because I am getting kind of tired. It's been a long day. And I just noticed my battery is dying. So I'm going to be plugging my laptop in here. So sorry for that. I don't want the battery to die on this laptop while I am actually recording. So that will be tacky. And I don't want that. All right, guys. So there we go. All right. So I'm back. Okay. So, hmm, like I was saying, I'm doing end of the year tarot tag. Um, I read a response to the lovely Veronica Rose. Okay, so it's a very quick one. And so the first question is, what is your favorite way to celebrate the end of the year? So whether you celebrate Christmas, Yule, Lithia, Hanukkah, New Year's, you know. So I definitely do celebrate Christmas. Um, Even though I come from a family of shaman, and I have a video explaining that, in my culture, we do incorporate Christian elements to the holiday. As you can see, I have angels in my background. So when I celebrated Christmas, it was mainly focused on, yes, gifts and everything, but there was also the Jesus element into it, especially coming from the Caribbean. We have more than one Christmas. So we'll do the December 25th Christmas, and that's great. Woo-woo! But they also, my tree usually stays up close to February because in Puerto Rico, as in many other Caribbean countries, and I'm sure other parts of the world, we celebrate the Three Kings Day too. So the Three Kings are just as big as Santa Claus. And the difference is on the Three Kings Day, we're celebrating the three wise men that came to give gifts to the child, the Christ child. Um, and the children, in remembrance of that, they get gifts from the three kings. So they usually take a shoebox and put it with hay, which in a lot of Caribbean countries, not a lot of access to hay sometimes. You could put grass, and that's to feed the camels or carrots, and a little treat for the wise men. And usually you put the grass underneath your bed, and then when you wake up in the morning, there's gifts underneath your bed. So yes, so Three Kings Day. And also in Puerto Rico, around this time of the year, they have something called paranda. So I did grow up even doing that in the States too, in the Bronx. Bronx, very highly Puerto Rican and Dominican and Cuban neighborhood at the time. And I grew up doing paranda. So parandas basically is like, I know here they do Christmas caroling, but it's a little different. So you come with your instruments, with the paranda traditional music, very folk music, very traditional Puerto Rican music. Is usually bomba y plena to Christmas songs. And the people come singing to you. And so when the people are singing to you, serenading you with traditional songs and things like that, the people in the neighborhood that are home will actually open up their doors to random people and actually have a feast. So you're feasting with your neighbors, with strangers, all you can eat. People in the house are literally having house parties. There's loud music because the pandanderos are playing in your house. You're feeding them. There's lots of rum, alcohol. Everybody's just having a good time. and that lasts for days and days until the big celebration of Three Kings Day. So lots of partying in the Caribbean for the holiday, because when I was younger, that's how it was. And I still do that with my kids. Like Christmas Eve is you're having fun with the kids, but there's some drinking, nothing bad, but just drinking, celebrating, dancing the night away, having the Christmas dinner, which our Christmas dinner, which I think they have a question about that. So I'll answer that another thing. But we love pork. I do turkey once a year on Thanksgiving, but pork. We have pork shoulder, and that is the main focus. Pernil, arroz con gandules, so Spanish rice with I don't know how you call the beans in English. They're just small little beans. They're green. I don't know what they're called. Well, I don't know how to say gandules in English. Sorry. Pasteles, so Puerto Rican banana. It's kind of like a tamale, but it's made out of banana plantains with pork in it, and it's just good stuff. And fried plantains. It's just good stuff. So that's usually our dinner. It's more Caribbean based, and that's how we celebrate. So it's just a big old party, and then you're kind of kids, the Christmas Eve is for the parents, Christmas Day is for the kids. So as the kids are sleeping and the parents have drank a little bit, you're just kind of having to take that aspirin and staying awake and watching your kids open their gifts because Santa came and all that good stuff. So I love Christmas. I still have a young child, and 11-year-old and a 4-year-old, so I still get to see like the magic of Santa and the magic of Christmas, and all the kids get to participate in making it magical for the younger siblings. So I don't know. I think like kids just make the holiday season. Now that I'm kind of straying a little bit away from the spiritual beliefs that I had in the past. I still do. I You will still see a nativity scene in my house and stuff like that. It's just taken on a different meaning, if that makes sense. So now it's more of an ascended master kind of thing. But I still love the holiday, even though like I just love it. So yep. So basically that is what we do. And then my daughter was born, my youngest daughter was born on Christmas Eve 5 years ago. So now, and like the celebration takes a different change, because now a lot of it has to do with celebrating her birthday. Um so there's a birthday party, so it kind of gives me an excuse to have a party on Christmas Eve. And then on New Year's Eve, almost 16 years ago this year, I was giving birth to my second oldest. So New Year's Eve is always a party for me too, because I'm celebrating the birth of my second oldest and also starting out the new year. So it's like a big old party and mandatory because it's my oldest son's birthday. So, okay, so that's one. The second question is talk about your favorite celebration or end of the year activity. So, I kind of answered that with the first question. So, my youngest daughter, she's gonna be 5. Her birthday is on Christmas Eve, so we do a birthday party and mixed in with celebrating Christmas Eve and having the big dinner and waiting for Santa and having the cookies, because the kids we bake cookies every year and the kids put it under the tree and they're just waiting for Santa. So that's fun. And then on New Year's Eve, there's a lot of spiritual cleansing. I spiritually cleanse my home. Like I do it all year round, but New Year's Eve is like we're gonna get all the talk. So there's a lot of sacred herbs burning and rituals that I've done the week before, just to kind of get all that out and trying to attract new and beautiful things. So a lot of spiritual cleansing and spiritual house cleansing and things like that. So I do that does incorporate into my practice. But there's also fun things like we're going to be drinking and celebrating and reminiscing and family. My big old loud family coming from New York City, and people in Pennsylvania are like, so all that fun stuff. It's just a great, wonderful time of the year, and I'm really excited about my kids' birthdays too. So I have 2 birthdays in December, so it just makes it all the special. And yes, I have literally given birth to children. I have 4 of them, and they have all been born on a holiday, because even one of my other children was born 12 years ago on Mother's Day. So, and I had a Memorial Day baby too. So, yes, all my kids were born on a holiday. Okay, so question number three. Who are your favorite people to share the celebration with? My children. My mom too, but unfortunately we live far away from each other, and it's been quite a few years since I've gotten to see my mom on the holidays. I usually do like a after or before, but I love to celebrate these holidays with my children, my four beautiful children who have been with me from the divorce into the new relationship and all this kind. The three oldest one have been with me through it all. And just the baby adds like a completion of the family. I feel like now my family is complete. But my children are my life. My children are my life. I love them. They're just great people. I know everybody thinks that about their kids, but I think my kids are great and wonderful. And we've been through a lot together, good and bad, and they are my strength. My kids literally are the reason why I wake up every single morning, why I put my 2 feet one in front of the other, and even through the hardest of times, they have been my inspiration to keep moving forward. So it's just the undescribable love that I have for them. So they're my favorite people in the whole world. And I know that my kids are borrowed because one day they're going to have their own family and their own traditions and their own things going. So me having them accessible to me like I do now, that's not going to be forever because, the kids grow up and they do their own life. So I'm just trying to savor these years, especially my oldest, she's going to be 18 this 2018. So I know sooner or later she's going to go to college in the fall, so she might not always be able to come down for the holidays and all that kind of stuff. So just trying to enjoy these holidays and this family time. So what is my favorite music during the celebration of this year? My favorite music, I love Christmas carols and everything, but I gotta tell you, music de Puerto Rico, okay? I like my salsa, pleno, bomba, danza. Like, I love Caribbean music because it just reminds me of the Christmases I had back at the islands. It also reminds me of growing up in the boogie down Bronx with my mother and her cleaning every single Saturday, and just my childhood. She was very loud and flamboyant, just doing her thing. And she was always like, we knew when she was happy because her music was loud and she was dancing, ting, 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 and woo, like she was always doing her thing. So though that music just reminds you of when we were younger, all four of us in the Bronx, just coming into America for the first time. And the first Christmas was really hard. My mom was working jobs that most people wouldn't work, off the books, for way less than minimum wage. It was off the books, okay. So she was working in the factories, and where's this another video, but like conditions that most people would not do. You already know that situation. And I remember the struggles when we had our first place. We didn't have much, and Santa came light that year, but it was one of the best Christmases ever because we were in America, the land of opportunity and dreams. And my mom had a lot of hope coming here to the States, things that weren't available to her, where she, in the island that she's from, and things like that. So, I remember things like that, and always remember where you came from, so you remember how far you've come. But um it just reminds me of those times, that we had really good Christmases, and sometimes we had really hard Christmases. But it just makes you appreciate. I appreciate it because now that I'm older, I understand what it took for her to put all that together as a single mother of four, being, migrating to this country, not speaking English, taking whatever job she could, sometimes 2 3 jobs. And I just appreciate her for that. So you know um and that music just brings me back to, no matter how hard life was. And my mom wasn't always like, she wasn't a person who showed her emotions all the time, but the holidays just tended to bring out such a different energy in her. And I just love holding on to those memories and things like that. So that's my favorite music. Anything from salsa from the 70s and 80s, Ruben Blades, and things like that. Frankie Ruiz, Gilberto Santa Rosa, just all that good stuff, all that good stuff. Anyways, Hector Lavoe, Celia Cruz, like I just love my salsa on Christmas. I just love taking it back to old school salsa and just getting it going. Um, Decorations. I love silver and blue has been the theme this year. So I have my silver and blue tree. I like bows. I'm not too much into the like the star thing. My tree's fake this year. I felt really bad about having a real tree last year. I don't know, as I'm getting more spiritual, like I felt kind of bad. Like, why did this tree have to die just for me to have a tree? I felt literally like I had, maybe that's an exaggeration to some people, but I literally felt like I had a person in my living room. Like I chopped off the roots of the tree. I felt like it was a legless, like, no, like we're just gonna be on with the story, but I just felt like, I don't know, like I just hurt this tree by killing the roots of it, and I felt like, how would I feel if somebody chopped my, like chopped my roots off, like chopped my feet and I couldn't stand up and then propped me up on a metal thing? Like, I know maybe that's dramatic, but that's how I felt. So I felt kind of bad. And the tree actually had a name because I was in meditation. It gave me a name because I talk to plants. Yes, I do. And it just didn't resonate with me. So I bought a plastic tree this year and it feels better. And I have this candle that I light that's evergreen. I bought it at Walmart and it's actually good. Like, I'm almost done with the candle. And it smells like pine, so I just get that same smell because I miss the smell of a real Christmas tree. So when I miss that smell, I light my little pine candle and then I just pretend it's a real tree. And then I like to decorate with the manger. Like, that's just the way I grew up. So we have the baby Jesus in the bottom of the tree. That's just what I do. And I like a lot of snowmen, angels, and things of that nature. So I know that's, to some people that's weird, but I like that stuff. So okay. And I don't believe that's necessarily Christian because I don't classify myself as a Christian. Not that there's anything wrong with Christianity. I'm just not a Christian. Okay. Now, my favorite memory or celebration of this time of year, about 10 more years ago. Well, like I said, my 15-year-old, soon to be 16 years old, was born on New Year's Eve. And what makes that memory so funny, and I'm gonna go back to that one because I would have put my daughter, but she's only 5, so I want to stick to the actual answer, which 10 years or more will be my son. Okay, so I remember with him, he came a month early. So I was doing January. I was doing January. Around the second or third week to January was my actual due date. He was huge. The kid was sitting on like low, so it was like he was hitting the nerves and like my pelvic will hurt, and it was just not fun walking around. I was barely mobile anymore because I was very tiny back then. So like my body was not used to carrying such a big child, and they were estimating like 8, close to 9 pounds. Nah, I was like, oh no. Well, anyways, I was craving lasagna because every year for some reason on New Year's Eve, I make a lasagna. Like, yes, I'm Puerto Rican, but I love Italian food and I make homemade Italian food and it is good. So I wanted to eat lasagna and I was having contractions, but they weren't that bad. So I'm talking to my friend and she's like, girl, those things been going on for like, they're like 5 to 7 minutes apart. Oh, we good. They just, just maybe, some cramping, maybe my ligaments are stretching, like not paying no mind to it. um the contractions keep going, but they weren't like painful like my first daughter. She was 3 days of labor pain. It was horrific, it was horrible. So it didn't feel the same. So I'm thinking, no, it's just my back is hurting. I don't feel nothing in the front. Like my daughter was all the front. So I'm just carrying on my day, planning to make this lasagna, having the music on, dee 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 dee, ready to celebrate the holiday. So my husband at the time, he's like, I don't know, babe. You keep saying like you're in pain, and I'm timing they're like 2 to 3 minutes, like consistently now for the last hour. I'm like, no, we good, we good. But then it started to kind of feel uncomfortable. So he's like, no, we're going to the hospital. I'm like, no, they're just gonna send me home. Like I'm fighting with the guy. I want to eat my lasagna. I need to eat my lasagna. So he drives me to the hospital. The doctor checks. And he's like, ma'am. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you should be giving birth any moment now. I'm like, what? He's like, yes, you're about 7 to 8 centimeters. I was like, oh my God. He's like, if you would have waited a couple of more hours, you would have gave birth in your house. And as crazy as this sound, guys, like all I was thinking was, but then, like, at least I could have had my lasagna because in an hour or two, the lasagna would have been made. I could have had some lasagna before I got to the hospital because you can't eat once you go in the hospital. So I was all worried about this damn lasagna. Um, Finally, the pains came and it started to hurt later on in the last of it, of course. But I have to say, out of all the four kids, like my second oldest was like the best labor. Like, can everybody be like that? But yeah, I was worried about the lasagna. The doctor, because it was nighttime, I always give birth late at night. He was like, "Can you just wait an hour and a half? If you wait an hour and a half, it'll be the first baby of the new year." And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, now it's starting to hurt." And we're gonna push out this baby, doctor. So I gave her to my son, and I got a bunch of baby supplies, big gift basket, because it was the last baby of the year. The new baby of the year, he was born in Germany because at that time we were stationed in Germany. So my son was actually born in a military hospital. He was born in Heidelberg, Germany. Almost 16 years ago, his dad was active duty serving his country, and my second oldest was born in a military base. So it was awesome. And yeah, so that is what happened with him. And the first New Year's baby of the military or whatever that time was born January 4th. So they got a whole bunch of stuff. But I was good because I got to write my son off as a write off the last day of the year. I got to claim him for a whole year. So I got my little child exemption. We were good to go. I was happy with that and some free diapers. But yes, and then when I got released from the hospital 2 days later, I made sure I had my lasagna. So that that's one of my funnest and craziest memories of the holiday season. All I cared about was the lasagna. Okay. How does tarot or oracles fit into your celebration during this time of year? Tarot and oracle play into my celebration all year round. Like I literally pull one oracle card and one tarot card on a daily basis. Um, it didn't play anything into my life until the last maybe 5 years. It'll be 5 years now, and then 4 years professionally reading, but like a year just for myself. Yeah, like the last 4 or 5 years, because honestly, I wasn't into tools. Like I've always said, I did read professionally without using any tools at all for many, many years. Because I did take private clients into my home, and then I went into the online services and started doing it full time there. And now I have my own business since this year. So expanded into two different things. Then I do work on that on a full time basis. But um, yeah, like my mostly a lot of people like reading at this time of year. So there's a lot of readings that are done about the 2000 like the following year. So that plays for clients. And for myself, like I said, I pull cards all the time. I don't do a year ahead spread for myself. I read myself on a daily basis. So, but I do work with this specific deck since I've had it since last year. I like using this deck. It's my soul deck, but I really am drawn to using it at the end of the year because it is the wheel of the year. And I like that it's very apparent in each suit, like the actual seasons and stuff. So this is so you could tell I was using it in readings today because some of the cards are upside down. But this is the deck I've been using this whole month, and it's yes, lots of upside down. And yes, I do read reversals, but this is the deck that I've been using this month. I like using it a lot in the winter, like December, end of the year, and I also do like using it in July because I bought it in the summer when I first got it. So I like using it on its year anniversary, and I like using it on the end of the year. I use it other times of the year too, but those are the main ones that I'm like really drawn to using them, and I've been working with it a lot. So okay, now draw two tarot oracle cards. One is to show your conscious feelings about the celebration time of the year. And then the second card is to show your underlying or hidden feelings about the celebration. Okay, so I did this this video. So I got this card, which is all about reflecting. So judging and reflect, doing like a life review. This is how I'm, reading intuitively. This is the time of year where I do a lot of life review. And I also feel this is a time where we, no matter, like the phoenix comes from the, rises from the ashes. So no matter how bad the year was before, we have a chance to start new, and we have a chance to, like, it just gives new life. Like, it's a new life, it's a new beginning, a new start, light at the end of the tunnel, like, the reawakening. And this is the time that you see what you like about the year before, and then you see what is it that you want to do for the next year. What are your goals? What is it about your life right now that you don't like, that you can actually have control over? Because no matter what situation we have, there's something we can have, even if it's just the way we handle the situation emotionally. There's always some sense of control of a situation. So how can I, work on certain areas of my life that I don't like? Or, how can I move on from, the pain maybe last year, or this, so that I could create something better or something new, or that kind of stuff. This is the time of year where there's people in my life that are not in my life anymore, because I tend to cut people off a lot at this time of year. The people that just I feel are don't have my best interest. And I'm not going to have people that use me or are not good to me and things like that. I've learned to value myself. So this is the time that I renew certain friendships, end certain friendships. This is the time where I set goals, business goals, personal goals. And so this is the time that I come to life. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I see everything just coming to life, brand new beginnings, brand new start. That's how I see this time. This is the time of hope and miracles, and anything's possible because it's a fresh, clean slate. What happened happened. Now it's just starting anew. But at the same time, unconsciously, okay, in the inner me, and this is just me being, real and honest, the starting over, okay, it scares me. And I got this card, which means, like, focus, camera, focus, okay, which means, like, there's a part of me that's afraid of the clean slate. Sometimes I don't trust in the process or in myself, having to be careful with jumping into things without, really knowing what I'm getting into, and understanding when it's spirit talking to me, when it's ego, and things like that. I think a lot of us struggle with that. I know I do at times. So yeah, so that's the two cards that I got, and it is something I am working on at the moment. Just really learning to trust that inner spiritual guides that I have, and just trusting in the process, and not distrusting in it, not doubting it, and not being afraid of leaping into things, because then I'm like, no, maybe I'm jumping in too fast. I was afraid when I started my own business that way, because psychic readings on a hotline is all I knew. So, but it pays off. It pays off. Um, and so I'm going to take that into consideration as I'm trying to get into other endeavors, which I'll be talking about in other videos. But it's already 20 minutes and 32 seconds. I did not realize this video was going to be so long, so I am sorry about that. But for the ones that have actually stuck around for the whole 28 minutes, thank you so much for watching this video. And until the next video, guys, a love, light, and many blessings. This is Shamanic Arawak Priestess. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, I do professionally read on a full-time basis. You can find me at shamanicarawakpriestess.com, and you can book a reading there. There's different, my readings are live, so it's a time session. Depending on what package you buy, it will be the time that will be allotted to you in the reading, and my readings are done in live. So it's a live reading. You can ask as many questions as you want within the time that you bought the package. So much love, light, and blessings. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until the next video. Love you guys. Bye.